A broker's value. Whenever you look at brokerage communities, you get a lot of questions. What is a broker? Well, the simple answer is a broker provides access to certain programs and products. Well, if that's the case, what's the value of the broker? That just seems like an artificial restraint on the market being able to operate. And if that was the only thing that a broker provided, then that would leave our community extremely exposed to spreadsheeting and AI innovations that will get rid of the God in the gaps, so to speak. When you've heard, why do I need a broker? That complaint actually should go back to you. The complaint is actually stating what value do you bring to the table that's unique? Why do I need to have one other person at the table taking a bit off the top? And this is what we're going to talk about today. How you can answer that question with action and demonstrate the value that you provide in a deep, clear, and concise way. The purpose of that question actually is to get you to qualify yourself and demonstrate how valuable it is and how risky it is without you. Now, the more people push commodity, the more people think that they don't need a broker. Brokerage communities generally pop up in a couple of areas. The number one area that they pop up in are markets where there is a lot of fear and a lot of unknown. Now, that fear and the unknown generally surrounds situations where the cost of a mistake is astronomical or astronomical for that individual. I'm not getting into the theory of marginal utility here, but if you have a real estate agent who's doing a $250,000 home transaction and one that's doing a $400 million, or not $400 million, but a $800,000 home transaction, the level of fear for the buyer is most likely the same. It is probably going to be the largest asset that they purchase in their life. It is a massive level of stress for that individual. So the real estate agent is there to guide them through, to be the Sherpa, to help them go step by step and assuage that fear. Because the fear of making a mistake is massive. And we, at the core of us, are still emotional human beings. And for those of you that don't believe me on that, a quick sidebar. There was a study recently that evaluated humans that had brain damage. Now, these humans had the emotional cortex, or the emotional part of their brain, basically shut off. Now, the economists said this is fantastic. We can go and talk to these people and get them to make extremely rational decisions, and we will find out what the right choice in all these situations is. But they found something surprising, and that is that people without emotions can actually not make decisions. Humans need emotional drivers to make their decisions. As rational as we want to be, and I consider myself a rational man, we have emotions that come in and color those decisions that we make. So, as we move forward, realize your job is to provide expertise as a broker and have a depth of knowledge that you've gained or earned through experience or learning so that you can provide competent advice so that they feel comfortable for the transaction. This process allows you to demonstrate value to your client or your prospective client and help them feel more comfortable in the sales process. So as you chat with your clients, they will have to continually choose to work with you. Now, some people who are order-taking salespeople have a very bad habit of saying yes to everything. I would challenge you to see in your life if you respect on an equal basis the people who only tell you yes. Or you have a better relationship and a more respectful tone with the people who are willing to tell you no and explain why. The more that you can tell your clients, no, that's not the situation, we need to do it this way and here's why, the more you will be respected by the clients that you actually want to keep. Some clients you actually probably don't want to work with. We all know who we're talking about. Some people are very difficult clients, and your life is a whole heck of a lot better if you didn't have them. I would assume that there's a pretty tight correlation between the clients who will not hear no from you and those that you do not want to work with. Now, how do you, as a broker, get to these conversations where you're able to explore deep thoughts on a basis of conversation that is mutually respectful? As a sales guy, if you walk in there, the guard of the employer or the decision maker is going to be at 11, way turned up. So I would really recommend that you treat yourself as a consultant and try to frame everything in your conversations around the idea of prescribing solutions. You're not in there to give them a rate sheet and have them decide. You're in there to explore their actual situation and their actual needs, to sit with them and see what is emotionally pushing these decisions so that you can solve those problems as best as possible. This is what a consultant does. This is what a broker truly does at its deepest level, or the great ones. This requires more labor. This requires more specialization. This requires the broker who's out in the field to be better at their job and therefore command a higher wage. But specialization is the way to absolutely provide the best product. If you're out there trying to earn a great living for yourself, you can do this. The Wall Street types are trying to earn a great living for that institution on Wall Street. They care a whole heck of a lot less about you and your needs than you do. And that is not harsh capitalism. That's just market reality. Keep that part in mind. You're going to need to address fears off the bat. Now, there's a few ways to do this. I am if you can't tell, a fairly blunt man. The best way that I have found is to name the problems to begin with. Tell them what it is that you're going to do and how long the process is going to take. The worst thing that you can do is overpromise. So when you sit down with your client and you say, we are looking at, and I'm going to speak for small group level funded health plans. This is going to be a process. It's going to be more paperwork than you probably think is necessary, but there's always a reason to it. And we can't turn this around in 2 days. I'm going to need at least a couple of weeks. Now, with that, I'm going to work my tail off as the broker to try to find you the best carrier and plan for your unique situations. I'm going to do most of the work, but I need to chat with you and go through the actual needs and drivers of your business, because your business is different than every one of my other clients. And my job is to dig deep and find out what those nuances are. Now, in that moment, if that business owner says, I don't want you to do that, I just want the spreadsheet numbers, you need, in my opinion, you need to respect yourself enough to say, that's fine. That's your prerogative. There are 55 other brokers in this city. I'm sure that there's at least a dozen of them that are willing to do a spreadsheet work for you. But frankly, I'm in this business as my career, and I want to provide the best thing possible, not just for you, for this year, but for multiple years to come. And in order for me to have great retention, I need to have the best product. So I'm not interested in taking you on for 1 year. Good luck out there. I want to bring somebody on for multiple years. So that should give you the first step in that process to establish rapport and really set the table on what it is that you're going to be working through. This is different than most sales training because this is for the expert broker. This is for the prescriber of solutions, not the order taker, not the spreadsheeter. This is for the person who wants to build a career and serve people as deeply as possible. And that's not only for the client, but that's also for them, because they know when they produce the best plan possible, they get the best retention. When they get the best retention, their life gets better every year instead of getting harder. We'll see you in the next video.